Peekaboo, Venus. I felt like cleaning myself up. I do clean up pretty well and make myself feel pretty and smell pretty. You don't smell it, but I've got this homemade, like essential oil perfume that I made. I've got the base of coconut oil. I've added in verbena and vanilla extract, and it's like soothing, chill kind of a scent, and it's so nice, and it's in oil. So I've got it on my pulse points here, and I'm just enjoying it. And I just felt like this was a pretty dress, and I've got a pretty background here. I thought, okay, I'll come closer. I'll come closer. Let's see. Do, 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 do. I got a kind of new hairstyle going. Right. Well, today I used the dry, the dry shampoo, but I don't care. It looks pretty good, so I'm gonna move over here. Ooh, doo-doo-doo. And I just felt like exploring some fun topics. So I just feel like chatting and seeing who's out there today. Um, so, for example, driving music. I think I decided, and I thought about this for a while because Vox Ackerman did this years ago, and it was where you see him driving in a car and he's taking you on a date, but except I just want driving music to share with you. Well, I have to do the royalty free ones, but like favorite songs or genres of music to listen to while you're driving. And I'm gonna make it about a half hour ish video. So that's something I'm gonna work on. And I mean, do you ever listen to the radio behind the wheel of a car? Or do you need to have your own particular playlist? Do you have a playlist as a favorite? Let me know in the comments so that I can see what kind of music I should be pulling when I make stuff for you. And do you listen to podcasts? Sometimes when I'm driving and I know I'm going to drive like across country for work or stuff, go see my family, I will get something like a comedy show, like a comedy playlist. And the last one I bought was a couple years ago, but it was Amy Schumer, all that stuff. And oh, well, so there's this Korean lady. I'm going to remember her name after I go offline, but I used to listen to her stuff a lot. And I'm going to say, absentmindedly, I grew up learning how to play piano, for example. I will on a Sunday stroll, like when I'm going to the farms and just looking at the landscape, I'll put on real, like, the Mozart music, the classical stuff, the piano keys and violins and cellos and harps, and I do that because it's like it's just lyrical. It's just music. No, sorry, it's musical, not lyric. Like there's no lyrics. It's just all the different concertos and sonatas and minuets and stuff like that. And I really like it because when I grew up learning to dance, we actually had, like, when I was learning ballet, there was a man who played piano for us, and the Russian lady with a stick that she banged on the floor for our timing. And then there was, when I was learning like Odyssey, Bradanachium, Kathakali, she would bring in the real musicians, and before we could dance, we had to learn how to play. And that was the same for when I was learning Western New Territory African dances. We had to learn the different drums, second drum, third drum, whatever, and we had to play before we could dance. But there's also the interplay. Once you understand the beats and the rhythms and the syncopations, then you could play, and musicians could play with you as the dancer on the stage. So that's kind of neat. But when I'm really pissed, it is hard rock. It is heavy metal. But it's the guitar riffs that I'm. That's the part that I zone in on. It's the guitar riffs. Of course, you always need a good drummer for the bass, but I like it. Electric guitar. Someone who knows the riff, I really like it, and that is what I play until I calm down. So when I'm going down a major highway, that's probably what I'm playing. Every once in a while, I find something different. I do like R&B. I like going to a lot of R&B clubs, and when I find something really, really good vibe, a really relaxing vibe, that would be like late night. I'm driving home at, I don't know if you consider it night or day when it's still pitch black out and the sun is not near coming up yet, but you know, now the clubs are closed. That would be when I listen to that kind of stuff. No. And just exploring different kind of fun topics and looking at stuff. They're saying lottery. I don't I don't know why that would be fun. I don't want to gamble. I don't even buy lottery tickets or scratch tickets. Um now that I have to wear glasses to read, if I can't read them, then I don't want to buy them anymore. Like, what's the point? I'll miss it. Even if it's a winter, I'll probably not know. Presents to people that I know like those things. And how do I think my life would change if I won big? Well, the truth is, when I was a baby, $1 million sounded like the whole world. And now, I mean, a regular house for someone in middle class is going to be $800,000 at least. It's not the changes they made to the laws in the 50s, honestly, made sure that my parents might be the last generation to get a house. Mine can't. We can't afford it. And a lot of us would like to, especially if you're working in a major city like Toronto. There's no way. You're living with your parents. And you're lucky if you see your child. Or each other. I don't know. It's so much. It's just all we do is work. It's terrible. It's not worth life. That's all we do in our life. That's pretty depressing. Okay, I'm not going to make you look. That's not a fun topic. It's going to make you look. But what I do know is never go with someone you think is your friend. Even though, like someone I've known since I was 4 years old. We hit university and I made a mistake of going with them. Never having seen this side of them. You could not physically pull them off the machine. And then once they did the damage to their life that they did, they blamed you and hated you for it. And that's like, what? I physically tried to claw you off it. And so did our third friend that came with us. And you wouldn't go. That's your fault. So I will never do that. I made the mistake of a second person that doesn't know those people going with them. And no, they couldn't stop either. And I just cringe because I don't think it's fair to blame me because we drove together, or you got to be able to stop. If you can't stop, don't even go. I don't get that bug. The odd time I put something in and I double it, that's a steak dinner. I'm out. I'm going to go eat that steak for free and feel like I just hit the jackpot. Because it is. If you have a steak, those are $50 meals, you know. You have a full belly and you're going to sleep on a full belly. That's better than most people in the world. Like, I stop right there. That's it. I know a life of trying to break even and not even being able to do that. So to me, that's hitting big. And that's it. I'm done. I'm not greedy. I look for the IRE. I look for the it's enough, because I think that's what, if there's a power that be, will push towards you. And when you really need it. Like, honestly, there's 2 times in the past 2 years when I really didn't know where I was going to get money for groceries, and then a government check came in from after doing your taxes, and I hit the town. I paid a bill, I got some groceries, and I got myself one junk food thing, put gas in my car, I'm done. And that's the jackpot. It's like in the moment where you're not sure, and then one thing pops up, don't waste it. Don't waste it. And I shared a little bit of it. I shared my treats. I'm not completely selfish. Anyways, I want to get closer to you. I think I feel so pretty in my dress today. I feel like I smell so good. And I'm rocking this new hairstyle. So let's do this. I'm going to come a little closer. Hello, everybody. I miss when heroes here and will tell me that I look good. That they like my dresses. I really do. I appreciate that. Thank you, hero. Miss you sometimes. What are you doing out there? The beach. Now, we're in the middle of winter, and I do think the farmers will have had some good amount of water to help out with the crops this year when spring hits, whenever that may be. I think. I don't know. But right now, it seems okay. So, beach life. I feel like if I could have grown up anywhere from the time I was, like, hit my teens, I wanted to be in all those beach movies with the surfers, having a surf shack as a house near the beach, walking distance, see the water every day, hear the water. I'd be in it. I would have a totally different body type. I just love it. And so my vacations have to be in a warm place, but not the desert. I've mostly lived in places by a big lake or a big river or a big, the ocean right there. One time surrounded by 3 oceans and a bay. No, an ocean and a bay. But one time I was landlocked. That was stir crazy. I also find that I'm a good homing pigeon, so I get wandered and I get lost in nature, and then You have to find your way back. I'm usually pretty good. You dump me anywhere, I can find my way back. But that's because I'm attuned to where the major body of water is, and so that's my cardinal point. But I love what I miss. My dad always used to put on that copper tone. I'm copper tone Tanner. Hey there, Franco Perez. Hola. ¿Cómo está usted? So I'm just chit chatting today. I'm dreaming of the beach. You're in the south right now, southern hemisphere. Is it warm right now, or do you guys get cold, or you get snow, or is it like rainy? Are you out of the rainy season now? I know my friends from Trinidad, they would go through a rainy season around just after Christmas time, New Year's Eve. And they repaint their houses and everything. Yes, ask your question. Domanda. ¿Qué pasa? So I always remember my dad wearing copper tone, and it always smelled wonderful. It's that cocoa butter smell. I love that cocoa butter smell. Um, I didn't, and I grew. You know what I did? Always play volleyball on the beaches. I'm still good at serving, and I can set. Sometimes I was streaming in Twitch, and there was a time where I could stream in both Facebook and here at the same time, but now they want you to pay for that. So because I've been crushed for a time, I've only been here. But I mean, I can go off to Twitch. I do make posts in Facebook, so you can definitely find my name in Facebook for my live feeds. But I also post my memes in Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, the X. Is there somewhere else you usually like to watch people who are chit-chatting? So when I grew up, I always watched my cousins put lemon juice in their hair and olive oil on their skin, or like tanning oil. Half of them were sunbathers. The other half of us would spend our time in the water. I am having a good day. I'm feeling good, but I'm also smelling good. And I can't express to you guys how I'm smelling so good with this homemade. My sister's into making her own perfumes and soaps, and she got me and my mom into it. And I just smell so freaking good. And I just wanted to share my happy from the aromatherapy of it all. So I do make my own DIY furniture spritzers and air spritzers and stuff like that. And so I just found this little background, and I really loved it. So I wanted to find a nice soft dress and do my hair. My hair is actually up today in this really hot, messy bun with spiky things coming out everywhere. It's almost like a mohawk and a bun had a baby, and that's what's happening. But here I like to be a little bit more chic. Yeah. So I don't know if you saw, but if you are from South America, or are you heading out? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So, if you see earlier today, I posted something. I was rambling about different drinks from around the world. It wasn't from your country, but it was from, what was it, Dominican? There was another one from South America, I think. And I was just talking about different local drinks that people have that are unique. And if in case people have the travel bug, to go try these drinks out. Yeah. I hope you're having a wonderful day too. Piacere. So one of the questions about being on a beach or beach life, I do get nervous about sharks. And that, the threshers come in, they only need 2.5 feet of water. They're probably there more than we realize. And they probably smell us very easily. I think to a lot of animals, we smell like plastic for all this stuff all our plastic goods that hold all the stuff we consume. I don't know. Our deodorants and stuff. We must really contaminate their sense of smell in the water. Gotta think that. But it's saying about Jaws. So, in grade 1, I don't know how the brilliant thought, but my bestie at the time took us to see a movie, and they knew they wanted to see it, and it was Jaws. And this carried right through high school. My girlfriends wanted to see anything like Pet Sematary, anything from Stephen King. These are the days I remember stinging, smiley-shaped, bleeding gashes all up between my wrists and my elbows because they would make me sit in between them, and everybody would claw me up if they didn't have a boyfriend. I was the friend that they held on to and hid their faces, and I had to watch all the gore and tell them in play by play what was going on in the movie at the time, which probably drove people nuts who sat around us. But it was our thing, and we had been doing it since we were 4 years old together. So why not do it when you're 18? But sometimes I started wearing leather so that they would not be clawing me anymore. But my very first leather jackets have all the claw marks all the way up the arms. It's hilarious. I don't think it's hilarious, but because I saw that even now, once in a while, like when I'm traveling in another country, I check for snakes uh, and and sharks in my bathtub and my toilet before I sit down or have a bath or anything. I have to know what's in there before I go in, and I to this day am so queasy trying to go swim out, even if I know the lake for all my life does not have a shark in it. Although I'm hearing that Lake Erie's got some sharks coming up the river systems now. That's terrible for us. Um, Maybe they'll eat the zebra mussels that have contaminated everything since the 80s. I don't know. But I do still feel worried about that. And as much as other people enjoy scuba diving, I have gone scuba diving. It was beautiful to see the beautiful things. But I also am the person that screamed through my scuba tube until I got up on a very beautiful swim trainer's back. And he towed me back to shore when I almost stepped on a stingray that was hiding under the sand to catch something. I don't know what, but it was as afraid as I was probably. I'm not, at least the trainer was cool about it. And the other girls in my scuba group were kind of mad at me. Yes, he is cute. But anyways, that's how you meet some people. How long do I tan for? I will stay out all day if I don't have to come in. And I won't go to the computer until the sun is down and there's nowhere for me to go because I'm by myself a lot of the time. When I travel, I'm by myself. So I do take the safe route. It means I don't meet most people, but also I'd like to find a relationship, and that's not there when you're meeting someone in passing and then they're off somewhere else, and who knows what's waiting at home for them to come home. So usually I find someone's hiding that they've got a new baby on the way or something. That's always something. And I remember one time, just chit-chatting. This is spitting on the beach thing. I went out with a girlfriend of mine and a guy, and her hit off. She snuck off on me. I was pissed, so I went back to her house and said, "You promised me you'd get me home. And no matter who you met, is that more important than leaving me alone to walk home alone from downtown?" And I said, "And by the way, the women from the other table know this guy, and this is his name, right? He's got a new baby. His mother's his wife and a wife. Do you know this?" She did actually know this. So for me, I was pissed because she endangered me for a screw. And it wasn't even something that could become something in her life. It was somebody was already taken, and she's breaking that person's heart. And he was pretty selfish. I saw her pretty selfish, so I never talked to her again. I know people listening maybe do those things. Sorry. But that's not for me. That's not how I choose to live my life. And I don't want to see that happen to people that I care about. And yes, I do have friends that I know that have open relationships, but they always did. And they know it. And so I've always known that about them, so that's different. They have their rules, and if don't ask, don't tell, but they both agreed that that's what it is, then that's what it is. The only thing there where I draw the line, spitting off of conversation after conversation, is I've met a couple of females in my life that went after someone that I liked and was friends with, that while they were engaged to other people or living with other people or both, or married to somebody and living with them, and I knew them since school, and now they've married and whatever, and the female friend of the friends of the couples would tell them they're going out with me or setting me up with someone that actually they were going out with behind that person's back. And since I knew them both before they were married, in both cases actually, and before they were engaged and moved in together, and in one case was the person that I liked. Although I didn't expect that person. They didn't see me that way. But there was also a third person that liked that guy that was a really good catch. I would say myself even, that really did care about that guy, was hoping. And he chose the one that was engaged. So, happy to tell you. Not happy to tell you. I'm wrong of me to be happy about this. But they're not in the happiest relationship now. But she got what she wanted. And for her, it was always... And when I had broken up being a friend with her at the time, she was arguing about our friendship and trying to save it. One of the points of view she had was that, like, you have to accept all of me. And I'm like, no, because It wasn't even about the guy. It was that she hurt someone, but she used me as the excuse to do it. And in both cases, they were caught because the guy called me and asked to talk to them through my phone. And I'm like, I'm not with them. And they would be pissed, and I may or may not know why. One of them told me, one of them didn't. And then she called me right after. In both cases, they called me within 5 minutes after, trying to beat their phone calls. I'm like, hello? And it's they didn't okay, so it's wrong to be included in the masquerade, right? But it's not like they even told me what they were doing. One of them, I remember, got drunk enough and angry at me that I was refusing to go out with this guy. I didn't like him. I didn't feel good about him. I also knew that he didn't like me, and I also felt that they liked each other. And um, I told her not to use me that way, and she told me off right for it. So I stopped talking to her because of that, because she hurt me. But I was actually the friend to the guy first. I grew up with the guy, and he met her in school, and then they got together. And I'm like, what do I do? Because I became friends with her, so she didn't have to worry about me. And I only would talk to the guy that I had always talked to all my life growing up as a kid, playing sports with him and stuff, friend of my brothers, and going to school with them, because I felt like the woman should know who I am, and that's who I should try to be friends with, because otherwise they question that female friend, that you do have that special bond. And I would only talk to the guy alone if I told her first what it was, and she's okay, go talk to him. Right? Like, I try to be very open and respect the relationships of my guy friends as they grew up, and found the people that were the loves of their lives, and having kids with, and all that stuff that they're doing now. But to use me in that way, I thought was very wrong and hurtful, and that broke relationships with me and them. As in most of the other questions, like, I mean, do I tell the guy who was my friend first? But then telling at all is like, really, that's their business. And sometimes then there was one relationship which I didn't understand until after the fact, because someone else had to explain it to me. Maybe she knew he was doing it and she just played it off like she didn't. But once you told her, she has to now act on it, that she knows that she knows. And that became awkward, and she wasn't friends with me when I was trying to have her back. So it's like other people would say, it's not your business because it's not your relationship, so shut up. But I'm like, I just don't want to be used as the scapegoat for whatever's going on. And especially too, I would like to have found someone, and nobody was my wingman for that. It's like, don't say you want me to meet someone and the truth is you're screwing that guy. Like, what's wrong with you? I'm saying that because if you're listening, what's wrong with you? Screw you. Back then I was too nice to say that. And back to the beach. I've never really surfed. I've kayaked. I would love to be in those catamarans. I like sailboats. I do not like motorboats at all. I've been in the big wooden, like, pirate ships. In those I've been to regattas and they've let you come on deck, and they're gorgeous. I just appreciate the workmanship. Building sandcastles, as a really little kid, okay, I do it more. I like to see other people do it. I don't like to squish them. I don't think that's nice because you put all that time in it. And I also like seeing people like the Inukshuks and the stones around the sand castles. I like that too. I like to see that on the beach up here. We'll see that. I'm not really a sunbather as much, although in the water I pick up sun really fast. And I also learned if I put on Noxzema, it's a tan by the next day. But only like less than half of the amount of color change as what you think you see when you think you're going red. And I didn't go red when I was little. I think the sun has changed, or we don't have enough clouds, whatever it is. It's a little different now. So now that I've rambled about that, let's find some other kind of topic. Clubbing. Festivals, raves, favorite DJs, dancing, genre, music, everything. Like, I've tried everything. I don't like line dancing. I'm not a fan of a lot of country music. Sometimes there's a good one. Love Shania Twain. I love Dolly Parton, by the way, and she's a great songwriter as well. And her songwriting has gone into all sorts of genres. And so I would say shout out to Dolly Parton. And yay for Dollywood with pants dryers and big bathrooms for women with kids and private nursing rooms. Thank you, Dolly Parton, for all that. Don't have a favorite DJ. Festivals, I'm less comfortable dancing at a parade or a festival in the open air. I more like the nightclub where you're in the dark and I don't feel like people see me. The people do see me because my friends tell me. One time I used to wear this Tommy Hilfiger tank top, which got that stretchy stuff, the lycra stuff in it, the spandex. It was navy blue, and then you had the white square on one boob and the red square on the other boob, but it looks like a rectangle going across your chest. But in the black light, it looks like one boob is flashing every one, like a cube that says, "Come here, here I am." And that got a lot of attention. I didn't know it. My friends were pissed at me for wearing it. But I got a lot of numbers that night. So I refrained and I wore that under a navy jacket when I went out in public in my jeans after that to make my girlfriends happy. Yay! Music and nightclub. I went to, depending on which girlfriends I went out with, R&B, hip hop, dance music, techno, trance, pop, anything. I think I went to everything. Except for heavy metal. I didn't like mosh pits. I didn't like heavy metal. Well, okay, so no. I've been to, I think the last concert I went to before COVID happened was Whitesnake. I love all sorts of stuff. I love musicians. I love music. And I love dancing. I just love dancing. So anything could go. The only times I was uncomfortable if no one was dancing, or it's like a big empty floor, except for like Latin clubs, because certain guys knew that I could dance and they wanted to meet women. And they would say to me, let me open the floor with you so I can meet people. Because if one girl trusts you, then other girls might look at you better or more favorably. And I'd have a great time. I had people to dance with. I'd open the floor. I wasn't shy about that because I knew they knew what they were doing and I was fine. But after someone opens the floor, Latin clubs tend to like fill in pretty well. And the other side of it is, it's okay for girls to dance with girls too. So that helped because there's less guys that will do it or without the aid of a lot of alcohol. It depends where you are. Sometimes not. But that was always fun. Okay. I love dancing. I miss dancing. My body misses dancing. However, in my weight loss journey, if people have been following me since I started this YouTube channel, I am almost back to where I was before I moved to this town. So, I'm happy about that. And that's like losing a whole person on my body. So, a lot of my stuff I've been trying on the last couple of weeks that are way too big on me now, that weren't bought that long ago, within the past year or so, I'm already giving them away. So I'm really happy about that. Yeah. And my bathing suits are better looking bathing suits now because they don't make a lot of nice ones when you're bigger. I don't think the fashion industry welcomes us when we're a little bigger. And that's why I got into cosplay, because I started making my own clothes. And they look better. And I found a lot of women feeling like me who wanted nicer costumes instead of sexy input all other words there. Like, they're all too small. I want to get closer to you. I want you to see my gorgeous hairstyle. And I love the top of my dress here. I think it's so pretty. So I'm kind of closer. Yeah. Do. I think I love it. I think I love this hairstyle. Very chic, very chic. I like it. I'm going to talk myself up. I'm loving my background, I hope you. We just needed a splash of color today. I'm very color sensitive, and speaking of cosplay and colors, the next fun talk is supposed to be about costume parties. They could be Halloween or New Year's Eve. I counted for that because there's a lot of masquerade balls that happen at New Year's Eve. There's different times of year, Cinco de Mayo. So Comic-Con and Fan Expo. I think it's Comic-Con that's coming up in March break in Toronto. And I know in July there's one in New York, by Coney Island, I think it is. Most of my characters have come from video games. And when I think about it, some of them come from movies. None of them have come from a book, although the movies came from books, so But I like it as a positive get-together, and it's the most body-positive get-together that's still out there for someone who goes in by themselves. And there are A lot of women go by themselves. I've never seen a guy go by himself that I can identify. Maybe one or two in really cool costumes, but usually no. Um, but I've definitely done a lot of cosplay. My favorite's still the Jane Proudmore. So many layers to that, so many updates over the time. I think it was in use for 7 years. I've sort of retired it now. Where's costume idea? Actually, I have the materials for it. I have a design for it, but I didn't make it. And I suspect it will take me a year unless I can have a full month or two off and I'm feeling really inspired, which never really works out that way. But it was taking the windmill, but with cloth pieces so that when you walk forward, things are spinning out of the New York Fashion Week from 2 years ago. Yeah, no, it was 3 years ago. And it was cool. And I made, what do you call it? So Ariana Dumbledore and what's his name, who turned Credence, who dated Nagini when she was still human form, were these, well, I forget what it's called. You guys will remember. I don't know. But like these specter things that they turn into this black, swirly, ghostly thing. And I had a costume planned for that. And my best costume, of course, is the Death Knight with all the ghouls attached in the same way that if you look at the theater show of The Lion King, how the Cheetah Man is attached to his costume and it moves forward in front of him and he's blacked out. I have a costume for that, for my Death Knight. But I don't know if I'll ever build it because I think it'll cost me at minimum a few $100s, which is probably like $1,000. Because my Jane Proudmore, the cape itself, which is very billowy, I use real silk for that. Or no, it was real satin. One of the, I think it was real silk in a beautiful royal blue. And I want to be buried in it. Honestly, I told my brother if I don't fit in any of my nice dresses by the time, put me in that and I'll be good, because that was like $400 worth of cloth. And I really was so afraid to make the first cut. And that is why I haven't made that black costume out of the Harry Potter thing, because is it animagus? Not animagus. It's not an aura. It's one of those other things. It's not a Death Eater, but those other things. But all swirly black stuff. I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments. You'll probably know what I'm trying to talk about here. But, yeah. And is there a costume I really want to... really, the Frost Death Knight costume would be my most favorite one. Yeah. And next fun topic, as we are coasting along. I don't know if you guys will sit and listen to this. I mean, sometimes people just want white noise. So, Simon Tan, I know when you're studying, you put me on for white noise, and this is just the thing. I just like the color therapy involved in this one. And if I could share the aromatherapy of my beautiful perfume that I'm wearing today, oh my god, it's so nice. But anyways, the next topic is daydreaming. No. Very inappropriate. If I'm thinking about my working day, I'm probably getting pissed. If I'm thinking about school, I'm getting pissed. If I'm thinking about, like, I do still dream in choreography. Because as a dance competitor, I still choreograph in my head, in my dreams. And I wake up, and if I'm fast enough, I can write down, like, how I cross the floor, or new floor patterns, or a new sequence. And I write them down. I still do from time to time do that. I always find that if I'm not the driver in a car and there's music on, I daydream right away. And I hate to what it is like, so I used to be a jammer. I can rollerblade. I used to have roller skates as a jammer for rollerblading derbies. And I would daydream the choreography, but on rollerblades, because in my head that made sense with being beside the car. So I'm looking out at the environment, and down the sidewalk I'm seeing the combinations I would do, or somebody would do in a gold dress or a shiny ruby red. I'm a competition girl. I'm going to think of what's going to shine on a stage, right? But it's always somehow as glittery, sequency, or lame costumes. See, I don't. Doing floaty dance moves. And also that translated into ice skating, too. For like ice skate dances to the different songs I'm hearing, and what I would choreograph for it. I do that a lot. I drift away. I'm probably dancing in my head, on these floaty surfaces. So, yeah, that's the truth about that. Okay, I feel like I want to get a little closer to you. Just one more time. I kind of like that you can see my bow. I don't know. So, oh, I know what I wanted to share. Originally, before I started gabbing about just fun topics to yammer on about, yammer, stammer, I don't know. Still love my hair today. You know what? I'm going to make a thumbnail. Whatever, you're going to see me do it. I'm going to do it. I don't care. I'm doing it. Wait, I got to smile first. Dun, dun, dun. We're going to use this later. Thumbnail, pretty colors. Also, I've been watching a lot of ghost story shows and ghostly encounter shows, Help Me a Ghost Ruin My Life shows, and The A-Team. So between them all, I've had very weird dreams lately. But why did I originally got online? Because someone left behind some daily inspiration little cards, and I wanted to share them with people. And I was originally going to like chit chat about what's on here. And so maybe I thought just things to think about, because I picked this soft background and this soft colored dress for this kind of thing. Let me see if I can even read it. Help the life of one person and you can help the community, by Stephen Sawlich. Sawlich. Actually, I think I like that. Sometimes here in our area, we give away stuff to the hallway, and that's apartment culture, and then other people will pick it up. They've asked us recently, because so many people are dumping stuff, not to do it anymore. But we would share, like for free. I don't want it anymore. Do you want it? I do think you should clean it, though, first, or throw it in the garbage if it's broken and not just leave it there. But I've been able to give a lot of like baby clothes and baby toys and like mats that babies can be on the floor with. I wash them first, of course, and I tell them where it's from. And someone's giving it away, a neighbor, and do you need it? And there's been families that really have needed it. And sometimes you can buy that bag of grocery bag food at the grocery mart, and then they send it off to somewhere. But you help one person, and you don't know what it is they'll do to help the world. Or even just that they just stick in it. Because they could feel so lonely and unloved, or not know where they're going to get this or that they need. And just to relieve that little burden, like I sometimes say to my MSOs, my subscribers, that, there's this DIY recipe, and why not make a batch of it and go visiting and spread the joy, spread the silliness, spread the oddity, spread it all, and you have a talking point. And we all need new stories to just engage our minds even, and not feel so bored, or we need that distraction, not be angry, and things like that. So, yeah, I like that quote. The next daily inspiration is, let's see if I can read it. I'm in the dark. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. Helen Keller. Alone, I've done quite a lot. Although, technically speaking, through me in a particular part of the world, my friends and family through me have done a lot for whole communities and for kids all over our country who need it. But it is true that as an alone person, unless you got a lot of money or a lot of connections, it can be hard to do the things you want to do for other people or the world. Sometimes you have to say no to helping someone. It could break your heart. They could, swear you off for a while or forever, and that's not fair. But people are always leaning on you, and you're sinking. You've got to stop and save yourself. And then when you can be better and stronger and help others, then you pull them up with you. I remember Oprah talking about how it took X number of women to help her be famous, but as she gained in money and clout and ability, she pulled people up with her. And that's better than being a crab in a bucket pulling people down because you resent that something's going well for them. That's terrible. And I always hope people are stronger than that and can pull themselves up and not go backwards. But I have not seen a lot of that happen in my lifetime in the many places that I've lived. And it takes a lot to stand alone, and I'm one of the ones that do. And you get used to it sometimes, maybe not in a good way, and sometimes some people never get used to it. And sometimes it depends on what it's about to be strong enough to do that. And I've always been a lone wolf. My parents kind of trained me to be that way, to be honest, because if you don't put in security nets for yourself, other people may bring you down. Other people may be gunning for you. Other people may be sabotaging you. Other people just are a mess, and there's only so much before they destroy your life. So you give until it hurts, and then you stop. You gotta love yourself. And anyways, on that note, I'm gonna drink the last of my water, and I'm gonna drink to your health and mine because I need to hydrate. My lips are so dry. It means I'm definitely hydrated. Okay. Yum. All right. I want to get just a little closer because I'm getting closer to the end now. I'm going to give up my beautiful, beautiful bow, my waist bow. Oh, no, some of it's back. Yay. Talk to you from here. Yay. All right. I've been rambling successfully for 40 minutes without any much prompts at all, except for Franco when he came by. Yay. Hi, Franco. All right. There's one last inspirational card that I found. I'm going to go give these back to the universe, but I just wanted to share them before I do. The smallest act of kindness is worth more than, what is this? The grandest intention. Oscar Wilde. I really like that one. I do really like that one. Because we could say all the right things and do nothing to help anybody. We could be all talk. We could be really trying and with all wanting to help so badly, but not be able to pull the resources together to do it or to do it in the timing that's needed. There's some people that are just con artists and so they just talk. Talk is not my love language at all. I don't believe in talk. If someone tries to butter me up, my answer is no before they finish buttering me up, because I'm like, if you respect me, just straight shooter. Be a straight shooter with me. What do you need? What do you want? Because if they're buttering you up, you know it's something that's going to hurt you to help them. And then that's where I draw the line. And a lot of people, especially when you're younger, that's hard to do. And for some people who are parents, that's hard to do. Do it. Protect yourself first, because otherwise nobody's going to be okay. One thing that I was taught is don't let someone drag you down a toilet. Don't do it. Don't do it. Unfortunately, it does mean you have to get used to being alone, because it's hard to meet people. It's really hard to meet people. If you didn't grow up with them, you're not related to them, we're the fodder they want to, use up until there's nothing left to use and spit you out, and then if you're stupid enough to let them in again, they'll do it some more. So don't do that. Don't do that to yourselves. Don't let people do that. If you're sensing it, it's probably true. Okay. I'm not going to get into any bad jokes, offensive jokes, or memes. You know that I make them and I send them out to you all through Instagram and Twitter and X, whatever the Twitter X thing is, Facebook, here in my channel. Bad date stories, I don't want to do that. Embarrassing stories, no, I don't want to do that. Party stories, no way. I am glad that it's not recorded and put on Facebook. Anyways, well, no, it's been expunged. What do you think on that? Useless skills as a happy topic. Okay. Impractical, quirky skills. Can you move your ears? I can, but I have to push on my back molars to close and open while trying not to show my mouth is moving. Makes it look like my ears are wiggling. I can twirl my tongue like a rainbow, the upside down rainbow thing. I can't push it back and make it into a heart shape. Some of my friends can do that. I can't do that. I can keep all my fingers straight up in the air, palms straight with all the fingertips and thumb tips facing the ceiling, and only move my ring fingers from the first knuckle down so it makes like an L shape, and bring it back up again without moving my pinkies or the middle fingers. That's something I learned actually through Bharatanatyam and Odissi dancing, because of all the hand gestures and hand signals for the lotus, and I don't know which one is it, the three basket one or the flag one. It's either the three baskets or the flag. I think some of you will know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so funny finger tricks, I guess. Yeah, useless skills. I do a lot of just like baking stuff in the oven, and I'll just throw it all in together with some kind of favorite sauce or water or both. Um, and then I eat it because it's hot. I don't worry about. I don't think my mother and I were joking about how I only poison myself once or twice a month with my experiments. But I do hit on some really good stuff. I make a really good rice pudding. I don't use raisins. I use apple, and I cut it really, really small, like the size of raisins, and it just is very nice. And I make these white wine ice cubes that can make anybody drunk off one, which it looks like little meringue. They look very fancy. If I had a fancy little dish to serve it in, then they would be a hit. But I don't do that very often because I personally can't really digest a lot of alcohol, so I don't drink very often. But you hear all my stories of how much I love rum. I'm a rum lover. But I think I just need uppers in general to give me some energy. I'm not drinking caffeine. It's hard to stay awake sometimes when you get home at the end of the day. So I'm trying to cut that off. I've been drinking lots of water and water with mint leaves in it. I've stopped with those citrus water just because I drank so much of it that it made my spit acidic and it was eating my tooth enamel, which I tell you about because if you guys hear it, doctors really mean that it can happen, and I'm proof. And that is so odd. I never knew that could happen, but yeah, me. um, good deeds. No, can't speak of any good deeds people have done for me. I will say this. There was a man coming out of the building seeing me. The snow was so deep in those past two snowstorms that were back to back that they were up to my knees in the snow. And the plows had plowed in front of all our vehicles. So there was like over like halfway up our car fronts we're in. And I'm just lucky that I have a four-wheel drive. Um, and I'm so short that I couldn't get the 2 feet of snow off the top of my vehicle from both sides. So mine had a mohawk in it. And I drove down. Like that down the highway. Like, it didn't hit anyone. It didn't hit anyone in their windshield, and I didn't get ticketed, so I'm great. I'm grateful for that. um, Nature. I love and would like to see lots more of the waterfalls in the world, and I love swimming so much, but I need to swim in fresh water. Ooh, that's my cooking. Hang on, everybody. I gotta turn that off. Today's the first day I got to walk around with some blue in the sky for the past couple of weeks, actually. And I'm a person that needs that sunlight in the morning. So I actually feel happy when I see sunlight, like the sunrise when I'm waking up in the morning. I need that. I need the blue skies. So I'm an SADD person. I try to deal with that and showing colors like what I'm doing right now, seeing or wearing a new color every week, a new smell, a new food. So my new food this week is beets. I'm using up the last of my zucchinis now. I've been making a lot of zucchini stew the past couple week or so, but I'm using up beets right now into stuff that I'm doing, which I don't usually buy them. I do love golden beets, but I got the pink ones this time around just because they're good for you. And I shave them really, really fine, like almost the way like a cheese grater would, but I do the whole length. So, and then I layer it on top of other things and bake it in with other stuff. And so if it's a soup, but I didn't do a soup today. I just did a layered veggie meal. But when it's a soup, then you can take that masher and crush it all in so it all becomes disintegrated into the broth. It's very nice. And then nobody knows what they're eating, but you just know it's vegetables and you're good, right? Well, at least I'm okay with that. I don't often cook for other people anymore, so that's okay. But favorite place in nature's got to be waterfalls. I just love them. Favorite smells. On the summer again, it's the cocoa butter because my dad used to put that on his skin at the beach when we go to the beach, and I just love that. after the rain, when you smell the mud, like the earth smell, the kind of earth that you can grow vegetables and fruit trees in, I do appreciate that. And also after the rain, the smell of cedar. I really do like that smell a lot. I love like coconut oil, and vanilla mixed together works really well for my body. I use that in the basis of the types of perfumes that I choose. And I love the smell of oranges, actually. It really perks me up. Sometimes I'll open up an orange and I'll just smell it for a while before I use it. And like earlier this week, if you guys were listening, I turned it into a potpourri through my crock pot with vanilla and water. And I didn't even put mint in it, just those two things. And just let it scent out the house. That was really nice. I would mix that with apples maybe. Or if I was making a drink, of course, pina colada. So the smell of the coconut and the pineapple. I would add banana to that too, honestly. I just make a nice thick shake out of that. Oh, now I want shakes. Now I want to have a nice slushy. But oh well. Okay. Well, I've actually been successfully rambling for 50 minutes. I hope somebody's found this helpful. I'm going to get closer to you one last time. This was my goal. I put on this lovely dress and put on this new hairstyle today. Here I am. Giving you all a hello and how do you do? Maybe I'll make a thumbnail of this too. Hang on. I'm going to do it. I like it. Yay. I can't waste a good look when I've got it. There we go. Oh, that's a nice thumbnail, actually, except that I'm falling out of my dress. Can I do that again without falling out of my dress? No. All right, we're just gonna... I'll just do a close-up on that one, then I can still use it. Okay. So, my dinner's ready. I'm gonna use it the last 9 minutes to round this out to be... I'm skipping things that might turn into a downer. Let me see. What else could I do? Podcasts. I don't know the difference between what I'm doing right now and what a podcast is, to be honest with you. I'm dumb like that about this stuff. So theme podcasts. Well, I guess I called 3 of my different sets of playlist podcasts, but I don't think I'm using it the right way, so I should correct that. I don't know. So the question I got here, podcast you enjoy the most. Well, I'm going to say, let's say not podcast, but YouTube stuff. I'm all watching the Ghost Hunter stuff a lot. I don't know why I'm fascinated with it. Someone said once I'm fascinated with death. I don't know. I hope not. I don't want to ever meet it. None of us do. But anyways, but and sometimes I got into that after, because I'm moving back through what I've been doing. Watching all of the ladies like Miss Mangobutt, and she's married now and doing other things, but she was doing a lot of those crime shows, or also reading like novels that I don't have the time to read, and then like condensing it in a way that I think she's a good speaker or storyteller. So there was that for a while, and there was like 2 different redheads from different parts of the UK that also were doing it. Neely, the girl named Neely, and there was somebody else. I remember who. And I fell into that after watching Vox Akuma. I saw his debut. I was in 2022. I had to be bedridden for the summer after surgeries, and I was listening to ASMR stuff to help me sleep. And I came across him, and I recognized his voice from other stuff I was watching to help me sleep. And I realized it was the same guy in a different life, like Avatar life. And when I saw his stuff, I wasn't going to go online doing my stuff, because I was planning on coming out that summer for something to do while I had to stay in bed. And I waited until the fall to get the YouTube channel, and then it wasn't until the spring after that. So my YouTube channel says that I've been around for a longer by, I don't know, 5 months more than I actually was, because I didn't have this avatar at that time. I had a different one, and when I saw Vox, I said, no, I need something as good as that. So here I am, and luckily, after watching I figured out paper doll theory, and I learned how to dress myself. And here I am, in wigs and everything. So yay, thanks, Vox, for your inspirations. But I definitely couldn't go in the direction he was going, so I knew it would be different. yeah, but I'm happy to be here and still kicking. I'm so sorry that I'm doing peekaboo schedules right now, but until this summer, I think I'm just felt too overwhelmed, too overworked, and too much other things are going on that take priority, and I have to clean those things up and fix those things up before I can. But I am trying to be on when I say I will be, and if I'm not, honestly, I've had meetings that have gone to 9 o'clock at night, so it's like I can't even. And when I travel, I can't take my best equipment with me, so I'm limited to like the little Venus kitty cat, little kitty V, the little white kitty with the blue wig that I'm wearing right now, so that I can at least talk to you. But sometimes I think that I need to take breaks from this, so which I've been doing. So you'll notice that. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff I've been listening to. Binge watching. I mean, there's so much things. I don't have a regular TV situation, so um, I'm like seeing stuff that's all reruns of things that even before my time or even before my parents' time, to be honest with you, a lot of it's really boring. So binge watching, nothing in particular. I've never really owned a TV of my own, so I'm not so addicted to TV. Although YouTube sometimes I can get really, like, I play it to help me sleep, or those adult bedtime stories, which is why I started doing them. Try to help people because I think there's a lot of us that just don't feel rested. So I do like following fashion trends, but I have to make my own stuff sometimes. And I think I own too many clothes, to be honest with you. But I'm like Rihanna. If anyone's ever seen her interview when she talks about she has so many clothes because she doesn't know what size she'll be, she goes up and down 15, 20 pounds in a week. And at her height, that could be a whole other dress size. And I'm the same. I've always been like that. I used to go up and down 15 to 20 pounds in a week easily. I'm a little more stable than that now. It's taken a lot to get stable. And I think adding the ice cubes and then water to my diet was the first big step to make that big change. And I do recommend it to anyone. If you find yourself chewing the ice cubes, you may have an iron deficiency, so get that checked out. That's all I can say. I'm not a doctor, but I know that I've just gone through it myself, so I know about it. Because, yeah, that's me. But there's always hope. We can eat for our organ health, and that's why I get into a lot of fruits and vegetables. And I found that now that I learn what I'm craving for, if I find out what the real foods are inside those things that I'm craving, and then I look up what kind of nutrition are in those real foods, then it always matches up. It's very strange. Now that we have the science out there to find, it matches up, really. So pay attention to your cravings. Figure out what the real food ingredients are in those things that you're craving, and go eat those real foods or have those juices made from those real foods, and it really does help a lot. I found that helps too. Yeah. So, burning up 3 more minutes. And I've come to the topic of fame. Have you ever experienced any amount of fame, even if local or minor? Yes. I was a very, very athletic child and preteen and teen, and I probably did more before I got into university than I've done since. It's been so much more boring since then, but thank you, parents, for that. Thank you for the parents that let us play sports and dance and all that business. But I went to a lot of competitions. Also, just in general, being a smaller female, going around the world by yourself, a lot of people notice that. Both men, dirty old men, married men, women who want to make their husbands happy, who try to lure you. And I don't want this to get dark, but I mean, these are the things I've encountered traveling on my own. And being mixed, lots of different cultures might find you interesting or approachable. Maybe just being young and fit in general is interesting and approachable anywhere in the world. I don't know, but you have to be careful. I was always careful, so I'm the boring one. But I have made the 6 and 11 o'clock news, where people blame me that a group of us made the 6 and 11 o'clock news around the whole eastern provinces of our country. With a friend of mine, we've been on international TV. I've been on a game show. I've been in a talk show. the local newspaper magazine did follow me for different reasons, because I've done quite a lot, and I'll never tell you what any of it is because you won't recognize me. um, and in other parts of the world, I've been in a lot of people's pictures photobombed. They photobombed me. I've been on like traveling with a group, and you eat with communal tables, and they'll include me in their family photos and stuff. And I don't know what anyone say about, but they, I try to excuse myself, and they like insist that I be in there anyways. Um, so my face, or my younger corporeal self, is all over the world. Um, and I also had a lot of friends that were models because I was a child model for a company that's now retired, but I was. And so when we traveled, there were a lot of photos. There's a lot of photos. And there is a music video where I'm a silhouette dancer. Actually, there's two. There was a local news show that somebody got in trouble because we had a car where our models were in a car accident the week before a show, and it was a fundraising fashion show. And so we pulled some of our dancers, the taller dancers, to be the models because we rehearsed together. So we knew each other's stuff. And then because I was a choreographer, one of them, I had to fill in for the choreography for the models that we pulled. And so this guy from this important news show who was supposed to cover it, we knew he was straight because when we got to see the viewing before it went live or whatever. And it was funny to us, not to his paycheck though, but when it came time for the male underwear part of the show on the catwalk, I was in the role of the silhouette dancer, and we had like neon bracelets or necklaces on to go with, but we made the silhouettes. And the guy stopped filming the guys and was just filming me, which was a big, hit to my ego, which I really appreciated because I was a good child model, I was for private runways, not for the kind of like New York fashion show runway model. I'm not tall, so that was never going to happen. But it was just nice to know that when I'm in motion, my curves draw attention. As you know from my model here, my avatar was based on pictures of me in a bikini one year. And we worked with that. We started with that as a start. He got in trouble for that at work because he basically missed featuring the underwear models, and the people that designed for it were pretty ticked off about it. But I appreciated that because I'm like, I don't belong here with you girls. And they're like, but you taught us, you know it better than that. So I'm like, okay. Yeah. So that, I guess, is my fun story, my bit of minutes of fame. Yeah. So in my corporeal life before getting this avatar, I've been interviewed a few times for different reasons, quoted in newspapers. I've done a lot that's been out there in a very short time, and my friends and family, of course, supporting me and helping me with that, and getting me out there for all that stuff, and other people from the business world saying yes. Letting us do stuff. I've also had a radio show. It was a short one for just one season, but it was there once a week, and that was kind of fun. So, and it was very random. I just walked in and said, "Can I do this?" They're like, "Sure." I'm like, "When?" They're like, "This time, this day." I'm like, "Okay." Wasn't prepared for them for not coming in the booth with me. I didn't know what to press, so the people that came with me were like pressing buttons, hoping people could hear us. And so someone drove by to come by the back door and tell us they could hear us. And I'm like, "Okay, thanks." They brought us popsicles. Thank you for that. Oh my goodness. So I've done some very strange things, but I've done a lot, at least for a little bit, and so that's my little bit of fame. There's some artwork out there that was stolen. Two of my art stuff with a friend for installations were stolen. Never made a penny. But I wasn't trying to make a penny. They were supposed to be like teaching examples, and they're gone. Somebody loves it enough to do it. Okay, yay. And one of my pieces of art that I drew by hand really fast, they took a photograph of my hand doing that. Again, because I was a child model, and that's been on boxes of this drawing set for years. But I'm not the only one. Other people around me when we were growing up were all doing it. All the parents found out about these things. They would get the scouts. We'd all try out for everything because we were hoping somebody would make it big. It didn't quite work out that way. But we certainly have amazing resumes, and we're not shy to try new things. And this is my newest thing, and I'm loving it. Yay! I hope you don't mind it. I appreciate it. And yeah, so I'm going to get real close up one last time. Let me see here. It's been just an hour, and let me see. I want to get really close. Okay, I guess I'm going to leave it here like this. Yay! I could be closer and just show my face closer, but I guess I've run out of things to say right now. Maybe I'll do that another time, but I kind of like getting closer to you. I'm talking a lot. Maybe you've been listening. Hey, or you've fallen asleep, and my job is done. You're welcome. I'm scrolling down through the questions, and they're not fun anymore. Free thinking. Have you ever had to prove to your teacher that they're wrong and you're right? I would never try to do that, but I would ask questions if I heard something different than what they're saying. But when it came time for an essay, I wanted my marks, so I just spit back whatever they wanted to hear. Whatever they believed in, that's what I'd spit back and get my A and get out of there. My essays do not reflect who I am at all. Nope. Here's a question. Being a YouTuber has become the new cool profession in recent years. Well, I'm not monetized. I'd like to be, but I'm not. But what kind of YouTuber can you imagine yourself being? A blue-haired one. Yes. A blue-haired one. Yes. With boobs that don't bounce too much because, yeah, I don't like having Baywatch moments in public. I'll just say that. I don't want to, like, smack anybody's face and make them blind. No. So I asked my creator, Nikhil Sapra, make sure that I don't bounce too much. I'd like to be dignified when I'm moving around. So my wish was granted. Thank you. My favorite YouTubers, if we can meet in real life or interact with them online. I actually made a meme of Spooky Boo. But she's in a different stage of life now. She's got a baby, and congratulations, Spooky Boo. But I was hoping she would see it and say hello to me, because I feel like if I could wear like a green suit and they could green suit me out of things and then insert on top of that before we make things live my avatar self, I would like to go ghost hunting with her as my avatar self, because I was always watching her thinking, like, we could be friends. I don't know. And do some of that, because I know, like, Chris is down is he in Texas now? But she's found someone who's moved in with them down south, so they don't get to do their shows like that as much as they used to, or differently. And I know they team up with Colby and, anyways, those guys. I'm so sorry. Sam and Colby. I'm so sorry, Sam. I know your face very well. Just, yeah. They team up. I just thought she might be the kind of person cool enough to, like, let me be green screened sort of out of it, and then we edit my avatar onto it and actually do something. But I don't want to play around with her thing, and she doesn't need me. So, but that would be, if there was a YouTuber I'd want to meet, like, that could be realistic, because I've been to Casa Loma, so I could meet her at Casa Loma. I've always walked around in there with my own feelings about stuff, and so I would do that with her if we could green screen me. I'd have to wear a big, like, Grinch suit, so I could be green screened out after. But I don't know that I'm not good enough with technology to maybe be able to overlap that properly. So it's just a dream, but I'm throwing it out there. Spooky Boo, if you see me. Have I ever seen a YouTuber grow up together with the audience? No, because while like the Bieber thing and all those whoever out there nowadays, the what's his name, the animal guy, I don't even remember the name, but as they're doing these things, I've lived like the better portion of my young life in northern Canada, and so not in a city, not getting Wi-Fi signals. Well, my best friend was living in the Toronto area, and they're online for their job all the time. So, but it was very difficult to communicate even with my mom because I wouldn't necessarily have a home where there was Wi-Fi connectivity or a TV even or a satellite dish. You couldn't just get it. Someone would have to die. They don't invest in giving those communication technologies to the north. It's too far. It costs so much money, and so they limit how many they have, and they don't necessarily work well either. And so even when you go to school, there might be a computer lab, but if the wind blows, the satellite moves, nobody's got connection. Like you just count on not having a connection. We're gonna grab a crayon and do some art. It's different. It's a different world. Well, other people were getting the first reports of carpal tunnel syndrome in children because of their tapping on their screens, their phone screens. I didn't have a GPS or a smart. I still don't have a smartphone. People hate me for that, and some things are more frustrating without it. But I don't want to develop those problems. So, yeah, no, I never watched anyone grow up with their audience. However, what I'm seeing is like the girl, is it Neely, the redhead from the UK? I think she might be Scottish. I don't know. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. She could be British. I'm sorry, Neely, if I'm wrong. But she's moved on. I did see her first episodes where she seemed more like a teenager, and now she seems like going to the smexy side, and she's changing her channel or what she's doing with it. So between 2022 and now, and I feel like so I watched her grow up and shift, and Miss Manglebutt. I think, finding her in the past couple of years, now that I'm living here in the South on a road, even though this isn't South, North and South are very relative when you talk globally, where you've lived, if you've moved around as much as me. But, yeah, I'm thinking like, I'm more new to it all and catching up on what everyone's been talking about, but watching all their shows now. But definitely you guys are seeing me grow while I'm in here, so yay! I love my hairstyle. I love my hairstyle. Yeah. Huh. Maybe should I take? I'm trying to figure out. Oh, that looks funny. Maybe this will be a thumbnail. That doesn't look good. My hair. Nope, I got what I need. All right. So that's all I can say about YouTubers. Well, everyone, it's been an hour and a bit. So I'm going to stop gabbing at you. I'm going to let you go. Have a fun day. Hopefully I'm white noise for somebody later on when you need just the background to settle you down and help you fall asleep or study. And I'll be talking to you some other time. This is Venus Callida. Have a wonderful day.